Okay, you read the title, and I know what you're thinking. Calm down. I'll admit the title is a little rage baity, but I assure you I don't mean this. In a negative way, and nor am I saying these characters are bad. So, there's kinda no denying that when compared to other speedsters in other verses, these characters are kinda slow, or have drawbacks so bad that their abilities are closer to torture. First on the list is Naoya Zenin, the failed head of the Zenin clan, whose claim to fame is being a huge misogynist. Although he and Regulus Corneus will get along well, that's not the part of his character I want to focus on. Naoya, and by extension Naobito, possess the curse technique of projection sorcery. It's a technique specialized in stacking speed, and it works in a unique way, inspired by animation. Projection sorcery allows one to turn 1 second of movement into 24 different frames, so basically they can perform 24 different actions within the span of a second. This increases their speed dramatically, as they're able to perform more actions than is possible for a regular human. However, these actions need to make sense within the physics of the world. So for example, they can't make a frame of them going to China, then a frame of going to a KFC in America, then France, then back to Tokyo. The frames have to make sense in the moment they exist within. Another drawback or advantage is that once Naoya or Naobito create their next second of movement, they must follow it no matter what. Failure to follow these movements will cause them to be frozen for 1 second. However, when they touch their opponent, they can force them to also follow a set of fated movements. Failure to do so will cause them to be locked in frame for 1 second, which is basically a death sentence in a high-speed battle. Another unique advantage of projection sorcery is that a user can stack more frames on top of and between already existing frames, allowing them to stack their speed and go faster than ever before. But man, from the sound of things, this ability sounds OP, and is definitely one of the best curse techniques in the series. However, there's one massive issue. The max speed of the sorcery is subsonic to sonic speed, meaning Naoya can just about break the sound barrier, but no faster than that. The highest potential speed a projection sorcerer can go is Mach 3, which sure is fast, but it's also incredibly slow when compared to other speedsters. Naoya and Naobito are not even the fastest in their own verse. It's been stated that Naobito was the fastest sorcerer except for Gojo, meaning Gojo, with his blue enhanced movements, can actually go faster than a projection sorcerer. A technique literally built for speed is being outdone by an aspect of a completely different technique. And now, we have Dabura, who can move at sublight speed, so projection sorcery can't even manage to be top 2. No wonder he got punched into oblivion. Is it? Okarun's Turbo Granny form is one of those abilities that sound completely broken on paper until you slow down and actually look at what it's doing numerically. When he enters the Turbo Granny form, he gains a massive physical boost, with speed being the centerpiece of the form. His biggest advantage is he can accelerate 100 km per hour almost instantly, with no wind-up, no build-up, no acceleration curve. At that speed, Okarun's kicks become devastating. His headbutt spear attack turns him into a living projectile, and anything he collides with at full velocity is taking immense damage simply due to momentum. A human-sized body hitting you at 100 km per hour is no joke, and in close quarters combat, Turbo Granny Okarun can end fights before they even properly start. However, the moment you zoom out, the illusion completely collapses, because 100 km per hour is actually really slow. In the grand scheme of speed, that's about the top speed of a cheetah or a speeding car, meaning Okarun is comfortably the fastest human alive, but nowhere near true speedster territory. He can beat a cheetah, Gold Ship, and other grounded threats, but he'd get utterly blitzed by something like a Yang Wang U9 Extreme, which tops out at 496 km per hour, nearly 5 times faster. So in terms of raw speed, he wouldn't even crack the top 20 fastest things in the world, which is brutal once you realize how many fictional speedsters casually dwarf this number, including projection sorcery users who already operate on a lower end. The only thing keeping Turbo Granny relevant is the instant max speed bursts, which makes him lethal over short distances, but even that comes with a massive flaw: he can't swim while in this form. However, there is still clearly some untapped potential Turbo Granny could easily be downplaying her true power, and Okurun may eventually push far beyond the current limit, but as of right now, especially as right now in the story, we'll just have to wait and see. Red Rush has a completely different kind of problem. He is fast in every kind of way, including his mind and perception, but he can't actually turn this part off, meaning he's constantly experiencing the world in slow motion, which makes life incredibly boring. A normal 2-minute conversation can be stretched to 10 minutes. He has to wait 2 hours to get a cup of coffee in a cafe with no line. This makes his death even worse, as he can assume he has experienced the pain of his head being crushed for several minutes. So, his speed is cool, but it's a nightmare to live with. David Martinez is similar to Red Rush in the way his drawback is mental. David possesses a Sandevistan, a piece of highly advanced cyberware that speeds up a person's thought process and nerve impulses by multiple times. This allows David to see the world in slow motion and also attack at incredibly high speeds. The problem with this technology is heavily tied to the laws of the cyberpunk world. You see, any individual possesses a heavy amount of cyberware or powerful pieces of cyberware are susceptible to a condition called cyberpsychosis. It's rare but deadly. Anyone who has it essentially loses their humanity, leading to violent rage, hallucinations, delusions, and viewing others as objects. This disorder often leads to those who have it to go on violent rampages, killing as many people as they can before they too are eventually dealt with. David, having experienced immense trauma and wielding powerful pieces of cyberware, was vulnerable to this disorder as well, and although he was more tolerant than others, there were clear signs he was struggling to hold it back. Chase from Dispatch also has a horrible drawback. His power allows him to move 50 times faster than a normal human, which will be around 900 to 1,000 kilometers per hour. This allows him to move through a city in a matter of seconds. However, the biggest issue with his ability is that age is also accelerated by 50 times, meaning despite technically being in his 30s or 40s, his physical age is in the 80s, meaning it's gotten to a point where he'll likely die if he were to ever use his powers again. So yeah, this power is not even worth using unless he has no choice.